Well, hello, friends. Pro-life leader Frank Pavone here. It's time to bring you my daily diary. What did I do each day? Today I want to cover Saturday, December 7th through Wednesday, December 11th. These were special days, and you'll see why. So Saturday the 7th, I was here at the office, started out the day to getting a haircut right down the street, and came back, started my work at my desk very, very early. I had to communicate with Newsmax. I had to make plans for an administrative planning meeting. I had to approve the travel log that goes out from Priests for Life, do some work on that, as well as the broadcast schedule for the following week. At 10 a.m., I had the live scripture broadcast right here from this desk and this studio. And more work at my desk than preparing, especially for upcoming meetings, about which you'll hear in just a moment for the subsequent days. Then I went into Orlando. There's a special mall there. I had to finish up Christmas shopping and also get some things for my work. And so I went there, enjoyed the Christmas spirit there at the mall, and got some lunch over there. And I always enjoyed doing that. When I came back, I was charged up for more work the rest of the day at my desk, getting Christmas preparations made and preparations for broadcasts coming up, and the meetings of the coming week. Wrapped some gifts that I had picked up and things like that. Sunday the 8th, of course, Sunday, worship, prayer. Work at my desk initially in the morning, just on a couple of quick things regarding the 2025 elections and the couple of statewide elections, New Jersey, Virginia, etc. And then also working on composing prayers for this transition time between election and inauguration. We have a special prayer campaign that you can sign up for that, electionprayer.com. But then I was involved the rest of the day in meetings. Now, the administrative planning meetings means that our vice chairman, Anthony, and our executive director, Janet, and I, we look at the months to come. We look at the important projects that we're involved in. We look at all the opportunities we have as an organization. And with the input, of course, that we've received from others, make determinations of what we're going to prioritize, what directions we have to go in. So I went over to Merritt Island. We met at Janet's office. The three of us, starting at about 9:30 in the morning, worked all morning on that, had lunch at noon. At 1:50 p.m., right from that location there, I did my Newsmax interview. I was on again with Lydia Serrani, who's really a great host on Newsmax. So we had a session, a little quick interview there, and then went back to work with Janet and Anthony, and worked right up until about 5 o'clock. So we did a lot of planning. We did a lot of assessing of our projects and priorities. It was very, very fruitful. And at that time, at 5 o'clock, once we finished our administrative planning meeting, I went to an event nearby, drove about 20 minutes or so, half hour, to the Brevard County Republican Christmas party. And I was asked to do the invocation at that event and sat with a lot of great people, met a lot of people, including our new mayor here in Titusville. And the whole thing was fantastic. Great networking, great spirit of celebration, of course, as I've been talking to you about combining the joy of the Christmas season with the joy of the election outcome. People were dancing. There was good Christmas music playing. It was a wonderful celebration. And then I went back later at night. Then Monday the 9th, we continued our administrative meetings. But of course, this is always mixed in with the various day-to-day work that I had to do. So we started our administrative meetings over there on Merritt Island at 8 in the morning. Now at 8:52, I had to pause for a national interview on Real America's Voice. So I went into a different room, had my laptop all set up, and I did that interview for their faith segment. Then we went back to doing this administrative planning, and again, it covers every aspect of our organization, priorities, plans, projects, and worked all morning on that. The three of us together broke for lunch at 12 noon, continued on after lunch until about 3 in the afternoon. Now, at various points, I had to check in on my email approving an appeal letter, planning for a meeting of pro-life attorneys, looking at meetings of our state pro-life leaders, the survey that we're sending to pro-life leaders in preparation for our big strategy meeting in February, approving the broadcast schedule, composing a couple of more transition prayers, approving an email to go out as an appeal letter, and then working with one of the pro-life leaders on a strategy memo from our deceased friend Michael Schwartz, who was a great pro-life strategist years ago. But most of the time here in focus was on our administrative meeting. Concluded at 3. We had a little bit of exchange, pre-Christmas exchange of gifts. And then I traveled back to, all this took place on Merritt Island. I traveled back to Titusville there then about 3:30, 4 o'clock, because gathering here at our main office was our pastoral team for the December meeting. And this was going to take place now the rest of the week or most of the week. So once I got back, members of our Rachel's Vineyard team at our national office in Philadelphia were here, and I worked with them on taping some spots. You'll be seeing those spots on our broadcasts. I worked also with Father Dennis Wild, who was here. Father Wild, our associate director, was also taping some spots here in the studio, and I worked with him a little bit on that. And then at 5:30, I took several of our staff members who were here for these meetings, Krista come in from Washington, D.C., Sam Ranelli from Birmingham, Alabama, Brian Kemper from Ohio, Father Dennis, and then Kelly and Mary from Rachel's Vineyard office. We all went out to dinner here in Titusville. We went to my favorite seafood restaurant, and we had a good conversation. It's great catching up with one another, talking business, talking fun, and just connecting with each other in a more direct way. After that dinner meeting, back here at the office, I had an evening work session with Sam and Krista. Now, between the two of them, lots of website technology is covered. And so again, we looked ahead to the new year, plans, projects, discussing issues with them. They gave me updates, and we had that meeting there, and then I brought them back to their hotel. Then we go into Tuesday, the 10th. Some of the things I had to deal with right away on my email: upper donor letters for December to our donors. Marystown Holy Rosary, planning for that. It's a monthly online prayer gathering that I speak to. Knights of Columbus email. We're getting the Knights of Columbus activated in various ways for helping us with pro-life. The Walk for Life West Coast. We always play a leading role in that event. And scheduling interviews with various people. Took care of those things on email. Then we went into our schedule for the pastoral team meeting. So we had an 8:30 staff briefing. It was a larger meeting than usual because we had more people on from our different locations, more people here in the office, and people giving updates, actually end-of-year updates, about the progress in the various branches of the ministry, our youth outreach, our communications, our Rachel's Vineyard, and our technology, and so forth, our fundraising. That meeting went from 8:30 until about 9:30. Then at 10 o'clock, we welcomed a guest, special friend that we know in conservative circles, who is in Orlando and has a pro-life biblical investment, Christian investment organization. Really, really great. So he was his first time here. He came with another leading pastor, and we gave them a tour of our facility, Janet and I did, at 10 o'clock. Detailed tour. Then at 11 o'clock, our guests sat in on our all-staff meeting, where we had intensive updates from various branches of the ministry about the work of the year that is just concluding. I gave a good update about our election activities. Everybody was pleased with to see our progress. Then we broke for lunch at noon, and all of us together in the cafe here in our main office. After lunch, we said goodbye to our guests, and then Janet, our executive director, and I had our individual update meetings, first of all with Kevin from Rachel's Vineyard, then with Katie from Rachel's Vineyard, then with Brian at 3 o'clock from our youth outreach, and then at 4 o'clock with Father Dennis. After all of that, we went into the cafe here for dinner, which our staff picked up from the local Chinese restaurant. We had dinner, we had good interaction there. Most of the folks went back to the hotel, but again, then I had a special evening meeting together with Mark from our administrative team, and Sam and Krista. So we met for, I think it was a good 2 hours after dinner, catching up and on a lot of business and making some great progress. Finally, Wednesday, December 11th, some of the email things I dealt with, the trip plan coming up for Washington, D.C. in January, the 2028 presidential race, believe it or not, some communications going on among the leadership with that. The so-called FFF letter, this is a monthly letter we send to our top tier friends who are donors. Work on website domains, communicating with Krista about that, and then finally more of those transition prayers that I told you about. And then the schedule of our pastoral team meeting. It was a kind of a festive day. Started out at 7:30 in the morning with a meeting with our videographer, Kurt, who lives up in New Jersey, comes down here periodically, helps us run this studio and our different video projects. So Mark and I met with him at 7:30 in the morning. We had about an hour-long meeting. At 8:30, major staff meeting with major updates from our website department, social media department, resource department, website department. And then we had a meeting of several of us about our Priest for Life essay contest, and we were narrowing, actually we got a report from the judges of the contest among our administrative team, and we were updated about who the winners of that essay contest are. You'll see announcements about that. That was an 8:30 meeting. We were going until about 9:45. At 10 o'clock, Janet and I had a meeting with Bob, who oversees all our international growth and activity. And then we, at just before 11 o'clock, gathered in the chapel, and we had our Christmas prayer service together with the staff. I gave my Christmas message to them. We had readings from Scripture. We had prayers. That was at 11. And then after that, we said a prayer and blessing at the manger scene that we have displayed here in the office. And then we went out into the prayer garden in the backyard, essentially, and we took our annual staff photo. That was a lot of fun. It went very smoothly, didn't take long. Then we gathered for lunch in the cafe at noon. So interacting with everybody was nice. People were exchanging Christmas cards, of course, bringing in gifts. And at 2 o'clock, we had an all-staff meeting, and our finance director, who also helps out with HR matters, gave us some updates about the revision of policies and procedures for the new year. We do this each year, and that was an important meeting at 2 o'clock, lasted until about 3. At 3 o'clock, the staff was free to go home because that evening would be our Christmas party. But our videographer stayed, and I met with him, and we did some work here in the studio, and then I had to do a lot of work at my desk. But then we got ready for the party, which started right here in our building. We have a nice area here for several areas in the building that are very well suited for receptions and parties and dinners. So we had a reception at 5 o'clock, and real festive spirit. Christmas music was playing. We do our annual Christmas party as a special moment for us each year. And then we moved into the cafe for the dinner itself, which was excellent. And then we lit fireworks out in the backyard as a conclusion to our Christmas party, and then helped bring people back to their hotels at the conclusion of the night. That's what I did from December 7 to 11, 2024. I hope your days are fruitful and joyful, especially this time of year, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless.
Hi everyone, I'm Father Donald Calloway, and I want to really encourage you to find out about Priest for Life. You know, I'm a convert to Catholicism. Many people know my story of being a really bad guy in my youth and causing a lot of problems and living for things of the world. But then God came into my life and got me with the divine 2x4, I call it, with the truth. And one of those aspects was the sanctity of human life. And I have to say that when I had my conversion, received my call, and went into seminary, there was one person in particular that I looked to, and still to this day, still look to him for guidance, because he's such an authority. He speaks with such conviction and love, and that is Father Frank Pavone. Was so inspired by him in my days in seminary, went to some of his talks, especially in the March for Life in Washington, D.C., where I lived for about 6 years. And now as a priest, this is a true brother for me, a man who is truly a prophet in many ways in our times, right there on the cutting edge of this cause for life. And there really is no greater cause, because if we're not defending babies, what are we doing? This is human life. This is God's gift to humanity, the life of a child. And so I cannot encourage you enough to find out about Priests for Life, get involved, support them by your prayers financially, and pray for Father Pavone. He's in the crosshairs, of course, because of what he's doing. The devil is not going to be happy about what he's doing. And I pray for my brother. And he is a good man, and he is doing great work. And so, my friends, please, please, please support this wonderful organization, because we need to champion human life. God bless you all.